fly. I be rolling with you, mommy. I be feeling the motion. When I'm inside you, I be deep as the ocean. When it comes to your love, can't lie. It be strong as a potion. That's why me and you forever be coasting. Let's roll. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah, she so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. Co-pilot.
Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Sparking Conversation, yo. Y'all know what we do, what we spark, and we conversate, you know what I'm saying? And I like to thank y'all, each and every person that tunes in every week, man, and watches the show live, and those that download the audio version of this podcast on all streaming networks where you get your podcast. Google, Spotify, the whole nine, y'all. I so appreciate y'all, man, because without y'all, it wouldn't be possible, man. And also it's dope motivation to know that people really out here listening and really paying attention to what we out here talking about, yo. So that's really dope. So thank you to all of y'all. And tonight, I just want to let y'all know. So tonight, we're not going to have a full continuation of last week's conversation. But what we do want to do is we want to talk a little bit about, the holiday thing, because I think it's important that we get some type of context behind it, because I had a couple of things. So I had a couple of things happen since last week's show. Of course, talking about polygamy, people are going to be triggered, especially people who don't do no research and all they do is get triggered by anything, emotional trigger for anything that they don't agree with. Which you already know, that's how people do. Like if it's something they don't agree with or something they don't understand, they automatically get emotional and they start talking about themselves and inserting themselves in places where, you know what I'm saying, it's not really about you. It's about the general and it's about the overall. Last week's show, when we talked about polygamy or we talked about the lifestyle that's under that umbrella, not once did none of us say that this is something that everybody should live. What we're saying is we understand the difference between why it was a such thing and why it's not now. And if we understand economics and we understand why it's been beat down our neck so hard about why it's so taboo and why everybody is so against it. And then when it comes down to the women, because I've gotten a couple people that inbox me, they like, yo, why, you know what I'm saying? Why y'all ain't have no women on the panel talking about it? You know what I'm saying? Like, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yo, because that's the thing. Everybody wants us to always battle, always want us to go back and forth, always want it to be men versus women all the time. And it don't got to be that way. The reason why we set the conversation up was to have communication. It's not set up to go back and forth. You know what I mean? Especially when the people was like, yo, well, a couple of ladies was like, well, what if a lady want multiple men and all? Yo, if we can't police your box. If that's what you want to do, then go do it. Like that, it's never a thing where it said, oh, it has to be this way for only this person. No, it's about your lifestyle. But understand, we were talking about the basics of it, and we was talking about what the real definition of it was. It wasn't just about having a multiple group of people. It was about having a group of people that was on the same page, that was inspiring to do the same thing, that understood the difference between being rich and being wealthy. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, you know what I'm saying? Me and Paul, because Paul put up my boy Big P, you know what I'm saying, the comedy DJ, he put up a poll on his joint and he was asking, do holidays matter? We're gonna start off a little bit on that, and then we're gonna go into some other things, because I don't like to deal with anything other than fact. So I got some facts for y'all. So all y'all out here that's claiming that y'all bosses and, you know what I'm saying, you don't need this and you don't need that, or didn't even understand the dynamic of what we meant by the economic piece of polygamy, I got some stats for y'all. And not only do I got some stats, I could back it up. Give it to y'all, and y'all could go out there to the same places and get the same information that I'm reading. So to make sure we got some context, y'all. You know why? Because there's no need for us to just sit up here and just talk, or just talk about what we think we know. I got facts, and we're going to break them down tonight, yo. So before we get into that, and before I bring my guest on, you know what I'm saying, because the guest is my crew. I'm just going to let y'all know that on top. But before I get into that, of course, y'all know I got to get into the sponsors. Always the sponsors. Shout out to Collective Wear. Y'all already know the drill when it comes to Collective Wear. I got on my God's collection myself right now. I got Horace the God on the chest, you know what I'm saying? But yo, I'm just telling y'all, man, if y'all ever want to get some of this gear, man, because I'm telling y'all, we going into the spring and we got some new spring lines and all that other stuff coming, man. Y'all know what to do. Y'all could just hit us up. Y'all can hit us up on that Linktree, you know. But for the most part, you can hit me up anywhere, man. You can hit me up on Instagram. You can hit me up here. Anywhere you go. But if you want, you know, go to the Linktree, right? It's right there. You can click on the button, the tab that says merch, and it'll take you to the site where you can order your merch, man. You know what I'm saying? And then anytime we upload and we doing new joints, I make sure I let all of y'all know, so y'all could do that too as well. You know what I mean? All right. And so my other sponsors, I gotta run them down the line because we gotta get into this show. You know what I'm saying? So last week I told y'all about a new sponsor. I want to make sure I mention them again. ARR Cabinets. Now, this is for all my real estate investors, for everybody that's fixing, flipping, or buying and holding properties, and you are updating or upgrading your property, and you need a really amazing price on some really dope and amazing cabinets. This is the people that you need to go through. I'm telling y'all, they got so many different styles and their prices are unmatched. So I'm telling y'all, ARRcabinets.com. Check them out, y'all. The link is in the description of this video. And look, holla at them, y'all. If you're an investor, if you're a fix and flipper, or you're a buy and holder, and you out there and you upgrading these apartments or upgrading your new residence to sell or whatever you're going to do, I'm telling you, holla at them, all right? And Jasper AI, we can't forget Jasper AI. All my people out there, if you got a business, any type of business that you have, if there's something that you understand when it comes to the return of your investment, artificial intelligence is running the world right now. People are setting their stuff on autopilot and it's actually working. So why not take advantage of this technology while it's in your hand? For all of y'all, it don't matter what y'all doing. If you got your own business, I don't care if it's logistics, I don't care if you have your own DJing business, service, whatever you're doing. I'm saying you got to keep marketing and promoting yourself. So why not have something marketing and promoting yourself while you sleep as well? Because remember, while we sleep over here in this part of the world, somebody else is up. And they pay attention to everything we're doing over here. We are the culture. So don't think that it's ever a time where it's not a good time for you to be marketing and promoting your product, all right? So Jasper AI, you know? All right. So we talk a lot. We talk a lot about things and we talk a lot about mental health because that's the main reason why we're having these conversations, because a lot of things that people are dealing with things that are going on mentally. They can't understand why. A lot of reason why they can't understand why is because they don't understand the truth. And then anytime somebody brings them something that is a little bit off or not used to what they're used to, then it becomes an issue, it becomes a problem, and they don't really want to learn about it. Well, I'm going to tell y'all now, positive affirmations is a whole thing. It's a whole business. It's millions and millions of people each and every day that's searching for some type of positive word, some type of positive message. You could be the beacon of that message. You could be the person that could be sending out messages on a daily basis that people may watch, catch, read, and it'll help them get through the day. It'll help them to understand that they might have somebody else out there that's thinking about them or dropping a word for the day. So the link to the description is in this video, yo. Positive affirmations. It's a whole business you can set up if you want to, or if you just need some positive affirmations for yourself, things you may not be thinking about, but you'll know that it's for you when you read it, yo. All right. So make sure y'all check them out. And we got a few other sponsors. We're gonna get to them later on in the show. But right now, I want to bring my crew up, and we gonna make it shake. All right. So I got my boy Illy in the building. What up, Cav?
What up? What up? What up?
All right. And y'all know who in the building? Big P in the building.
What's happening with you?
Ain't nothing. So it was only right that I bring the crew back on here since we had the conversation last week. You know what I mean? It's not so much going to be a continuation of that conversation. You know what I mean? But we are going to talk a little bit about the holiday thing because they're putting in some type of context of what was being said by all of us, because all of us had a different opinion about, what holidays are important, why they are and why they're not. You know what I'm saying? So, Paul, so I'm going to start with you. Like, based on the poll that you put up, did anybody respond to your poll and give you any answers?
Man, I don't even know, man. I put that joint up, man. I think I was a little drunk. But look, So no, I'm just joking, but no, I didn't see anybody. I did have some people come in my inbox though, you know what I'm saying, and talk about it and stuff like that. So and most people was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, they want to do something for the holiday or whatever, or I even talked to one person that said she broke up with a guy because he didn't give her nothing for Valentine's Day, right? And so it's a range of stories, you know what I'm saying? But people, one thing I did realize, everybody experience is different, right? So
Right.
if you grow up accustomed to something, this is like Christmas. If you grow up accustomed to Christmas and you get with somebody older, you've been celebrating Christmas all your life as a kid. You meet some girl in college, and her family don't celebrate Christmas. So now y'all have kids together, and now here comes the discussion of what we're gonna do on December 25th. We're gonna buy presents, or we're gonna sit around and watch movies. What we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So you try to reach some type of compromise, and I think that's the general thought that I've been getting from people is you
Right.
try to reach some type of compromise. Like while you might not want to go full in and maybe be extreme with it, like or get super upset because somebody didn't get you something, you don't want to not get nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like not go out, not get a rose or some flowers or
Right.
something. You know what I'm saying? That was the general
Right.
consensus. It didn't have to be. You ain't had to release those doves at the park or do something crazy with it, but at least be thoughtful on the day itself. That's what it came down
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, yo, it all depends on the people and how they look at it. Because if a person is here's how I look at it. I look at it like, the things that are important is what we make important. You know what I'm saying? But if you kind of technically think about it, like even Valentine's Day, if you take Valentine's Day, why the only reason why Valentine's Day was seen important to people because it's important to other people. And people don't want to feel left out. But if that person was a person that was getting gifts on a regular basis, even when it wasn't Valentine's Day, then if they didn't get something on Valentine's Day, why would that matter? You know what I mean? I be thinking, I
to,
just be
right?
thinking about the mentality of what people make important. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's important to certain people? It's like, you're right, though, Paul. Like, when people don't have the same religion, you do have to ask these questions whenever you get into a relationship with somebody. Like, yo, so we're going to do this, we're going to do that, because it's so opposite, right? And they come with opposite rules. But I just don't
True.
believe that people, when people, like you said, your homegirl, I don't know her, she might be watching, she might watch this later or whatever, but if she broke up with somebody because they didn't give her something for Valentine's Day, then like, who was the guy before she got with him before Valentine's Day? You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
how long did she date him? Did she date him a Valentine's Day before? Is this the first Valentine's Day? Like, what? You know what I mean? Like, what is it? Did you make it a
Right.
year? Is Valentine's Day the year? Like, what is it? Why are people so much in a rush to get in a relationship in the first place? Like, you know what I mean? Like, without
Well,
getting to
you
know these things for people. Like, you should,
and I, and I
go
think
ahead.
it's this. Like you mentioned something earlier. Like if your example was if you're getting somebody something every day, right? So if it's a mentality, and you got somebody that likes surprises, and you got the mentality that you're a giver, and you got the stomach or the bank to do surprise gifts or everyday gifts where this person feels pretty much flooded, you might not have that issue on Valentine's Day. You might just have to do a little dinner and be good. But if you ain't giving shit no other time, like me, like I like my bank account, the way my bank account set up is not set up for everyday gifts right now. So on Valentine's Day, I'm going all the fuck out. You feel what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna be right on that on the days I'm supposed to be right. I'm gonna be right because
But
I
you,
now once I get to the point where I'm doing little surprise gifts and all
right.
that kind of stuff every day, yeah, it might not matter. But in the
But I
grand
mean,
scheme of
not every
things,
day, not every day. Like, you
well,
don't do
no,
gifts
I
every
just mean
day.
random.
But
No, no,
you
no.
could do. But there's things that you could do that could be considered a gift. All right, now it just depends on the woman. But you might not have to give her, but you might could cook. You might be the person that could be responsible for cooking. Like you could be the person, like if y'all live together, I'm just saying, like if a person is in that scenario, you could be the person that come home and then take care of everything and then give her, like you could do certain things. If y'all don't have any children, you still could come home and be the person that cook, or yo, I'm gonna wash the clothes and I'm gonna fold the clothes, and like you know, because we have these so-called gender roles in society has given us this thing where, you know, we got women in our lives and we saying like women got to cook, got to clean, and all this other stuff. Well, it's good to have a woman that could cook and clean, right? Boom, 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 right? But then sometimes, like us as men, like it's still on us to make sure that we can cook and clean too. You know what I mean? What happens if something happened to the woman? You know, it's just like with the finances. People be talking all that tough shit about, yo, if the man's supposed to be the breadwinner, he's supposed to pay everything. The woman, and then, yo, cut all that corny shit out, because I'm gonna break down some stats today about all that tough talk when people think that one income household is supposed to suffice for multiple people. Now we understand if you're making a certain amount of money, but we're gonna get into that too, because that's
I got some
before
information
or after taxes. Like we talking about wealth. We're not talking about people who can do whatever they can do and every now and then shoot to Miami. Like we ain't talking about that.
But you know what? Let me I'm gonna jump in right there, because also, and we gotta let I want to hear what Kev got to say, but also listen, it's also about communication. If you ain't got the stomach to handle, if you don't say nothing to your lady, like listen, this Valentine, you know, we're trying to save up to go to this trip to Cancun or whatever. So this Valentine's Day, I'm gonna cook for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do something real special, but it might not be no gift, because we trying to say. Now, if I communicate that and she ain't down with that, now if I, you know what I'm saying, she might have to go. But if I just pop up on Valentine's Day, and you know what I'm saying, and I didn't communicate nothing, and she's sitting across the table expecting to be this, that, and the third, and I know that because we done been interacting for months, and I don't come correct. Yeah, I mean, you might deserve to get your ass kicked to the curb, bro. Like, I mean, if you ain't communicating with her, but if you communicate with her and y'all on the same page, y'all can rock out. You know what I'm saying? However,
all right. So, Kev, what you think, yeah?
I mean, it's tough, man. It's tough. I think for the most part, I grew up in the same systems that everybody else grew up in. So they tell us what days are important, which days to celebrate, and how to celebrate them. That's just how we're programmed. You know, so February 14th, Valentine's Day. How do you celebrate it? Chocolate, roses, card, candy, teddy bear, and what?
And penis.
Yeah, once we got old enough to understand that part came with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, wait a minute. I'm sitting here writing out all these Valentine's Day cards. As a kid, I didn't realize that the sucker I was getting. Let me stop. Let me stop. Yeah.
Right on the cards, bro.
Yeah, of course I was. You know, you had your little crush. They got the best card. It was always one really good card in the set. You know what I'm saying? And you made sure she got that one.
Blank. I call it blank as hell. Go ahead.
Man, listen, we went to the dollar store. We got the little 20 pack for $1, man. And, you know, because that's how I was programmed. And I would watch, you know, there's always a bigger teddy bear. There's always a bigger bouquet of roses. There's always, you know, people stepping it up, because, I mean, just from how we were programmed, you know what I'm saying? Hey, this is how you do it. You know what I'm saying? This is how you do it. And as you get older, you get better. You know what I'm saying? You start giving jewelry, you start giving trips, you start doing all these different things.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's just our programming. You know, for me, it's always been tough. My birthday a week after. So I'm like, well, if I do this for you, what you going to do for me? You know what I'm saying? Because my birthday is special too. And once again, it's another day that I've been programmed to think, hey, when my birthday comes, I'm entitled to gifts. I'm entitled to a cake and blowing out candles and going through these rituals.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I've been programmed for that. So, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Rod. You got something to say?
Nah, I'm listening. No, because me personally, like I said, you know, the context that I was speaking from, what we were speaking from last week was, is holidays important when it comes to a man with vision? And I mean, in that
I'm getting
particular,
there. I'm getting there.
No, you go ahead. Yeah, you go ahead.
I'm getting there.
No, I'm gonna wait for you.
Yeah, this is the thing. There's what's programmed in you, from
Mm-hmm.
a young age, and then there's what you learn as a man. And when you start going out and doing research for yourself, and then you start, forming your vision. One of the richest black men that I know, Floyd Mayweather, he said this. I don't want gifts on my birthday, Valentine's Day, Christmas, or Father's Day. The people in my life, I gift them every day. So why would you only limit me to those 4 days?
Right.
And I'm like, Floyd, you know what I'm saying? Of all people, dropping that knowledge, because it's like, man, every day is a gift. And you know what I'm saying? It's the small things. You got to understand a person's love language. The gifts are nice. Them teddy bears get dusty. Them flowers are going to die. That chocolate goes stale. And at the end of all that, what do you have? You might have a picture. You may have something she can post online, but that doesn't fix the problems in your relationship. You know what I'm saying? No matter how big that teddy bear is, it's not going to fix your relationship. And that's why it's like you said, like if y'all budgeting for something, why do I need to go all out for this one day to prove to you something I should be proving to you every day? Every day I wake up, I choose you. Every day you wake up, you choose me. And then we got to live this thing called life, So it's just, and when you got a vision, you got a goal, when you're setting the bar high, it's just a Tuesday or it's just a Monday. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing special about that day. And if you start doing your research about the day and you start thinking about the pagan holiday that you're celebrating, you like, oh, damn, that's what we doing. Is that what we really doing? And, you sit here and you see how these things get intertwined and you like, yo, I'm really slick, slow, like kind of worshiping the devil and don't even know it. Yeah. Like you sitting up here, like literally doing rituals. You know what I'm saying? Like these holidays, every single one, you're doing a ritual. Right. You're doing a ritual. You look back at how they used to do it and then how they made it softer. You know what I'm saying? Like how they made it softer. And then they feed it to you like, hey, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do. And then next thing you know, you're doing all of these things. You're giving your heart to somebody. And you're just like, yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do. But man, listen,
it ain't something that you necessarily feel. You just do. And then the people are in expectation of it too. Mm-hmm. Like entitled.
Yeah.
That this is something that's supposed to happen for me automatically. Like I be thinking about this when it comes to Christmas. Like as a kid, growing up, they tell you gotta be good all year. If you ain't good all year, you ain't getting nothing on Christmas. Like they make it so you get on a naughty or nice list. I know all of us heard of that back in the day when it came to that, right? So then boom. So that means that if you don't do right, you don't deserve nothing for certain holidays, like we say Christmas, for example. So in this world, we got things that, sometimes in your relationship during those times that's coming around, it may not be going the best. So is that a reason why you're going to force, are you forcing gifts? Like, are you forcing celebrations just because it's there? Like, I don't know. I just think holidays are something like everybody uses, like to some degree for a reason. Whether it's you get the day off, so you got extra time to go chill, or this is a time where you get with your family and your family all get together, or whatever. I'm just saying that when it comes to a relationship between people who are trying to build, because remember, when we was talking about last week was about polygamy and about, like you said, P, like if it's Valentine's Day, who go out the day before and who go out. We was like, no, everybody go out together. There's no separation. Like that was the purpose of us talking about the holidays, because it's just like Christmas. Like you ain't gonna have two people in your house and then you're gonna tell me that I'm gonna celebrate with you on Christmas Eve and this one on Christmas. Like that, it ain't gonna work, because if you had kids, like if you had children, like think about this, like in a man, like we underestimate ourselves so much because people always adding sex into the equation. Like we said last time, grown-ups and adults are gonna have sex. We understand that. But we talking about what are you doing when you're not having sex? Like as a man, if you're the leader of your household,
thinking about it.
And even if most people that's just thinking about sex
next time, man.
But listen, then that mean they broke. Like think about it. If dudes is all they thinking about is sex, they broke. If they looking at women, that's the first thing they see from a woman is like, yo, I mean, seeing that she look good and all that other stuff, that's one thing. But I'm talking about that's your end goal all the time is to try to pump something. You broke. Like
why you make
Oh,
it sound like
no,
a bad thing though? Like,
no,
no. I'm
I
not
don't
saying.
think
I'm
that.
not saying it. I'm not saying it in a way where it's bad. I'm saying it. If you got time, if you got time to be chasing, listen. I ain't never heard of nobody losing somebody chasing the bag. I always heard people losing the bag chasing people.
I don't know.
It's
a lot of men out here who wife done left them because you don't have time for me. You're always
well, I was
working.
speaking from the man. I was speaking from the man point of view. Now,
Yeah.
from a woman,
I mean,
from
you
the
could
woman,
lose your wife literally because you're on the grind too hard because you're too focused on the bag.
Bro,
that's the thing. It's
what
a
I was
real
gonna
thing.
bring
But
up.
if you focus on the bag by yourself, if you focus on the bag by yourself, like if your partner or whatever has their own goals and they're maneuvering, then fine. It'll be a level of understanding about time. But if your partner is settled in where they are, they're not in no type of position to move up or to do anything else, and your mindset is to continue to elevate. If that person leaves you, sometimes we make it seem like when a person leaves that that's a bad thing. Sometimes a person leaving you is not bad. All things that look bad is sometimes is meant for good. For those who love God, if you want to think about it like that. Like somebody walking away from you is not always a bad thing, yo. Like, come on, let's be honest. Like some of y'all be in relationships too long anyway. You just be dragging your feet. You know this person ain't the person for you. And you just be dragging your feet anyway. So stop playing. We be sitting up here acting like, you know what I'm saying? Like the person that walked away, if a man lost his wife because he was grinding, that means that she wasn't on the same page as him. Because either she was going to be a part of the grind or create a scenario where he didn't have to grind so hard. Okay, that's why I tell you about people be so entitled. Go ahead.
All right, let me ask a question. As a leader, and most of us right here have CEO mentalities, right? We own businesses, we run shit. So think about it like this. If somebody in your team ain't on the same page, whose responsibility is that? Theirs or the CEO?
Well, it ultimately, no matter who fault it is, it's going to look bad on the CEO.
But no, who's responsible? Okay, so you the visionary though.
Right, but it's going to look bad.
And it's a little. So my question is because there's a little devil's advocate with it because it goes into the story that I was going to tell y'all about. I was talking to one of my men at the cigar spot who was actually going through this right now. His wife left him because he was on the grind for his PhD. He got his PhD. He's a doctor. He's a high up in academia at a black college university. And his wife left him because of the grind. He was never at home, this, that, and the third. And so, but one of the questions I asked him was, when did you lay out the plan as the visionary? So if this was your vision and this was your dream to get your doctorate degree so that you can make enough money, but his goal was to make enough money his wife to stay home. When did you put that and get her to sign off on it? See, I'm in sales, right? I've been in sales all my life. It's one thing to have a plan. I can have a plan on when you come in to buy a car, Rob, I can have a plan and say, I'm going to sell you the most expensive car on the lot. And when you get there and I run the credit check and all this kind of, you might not be able to afford this. So now my plan's scrapped. So I still got to get your agreement on whatever car that you drive home in, right? So he never got her agreement. And so my point is that even though we visionaries, and even though you lay out the vision, right, the people that's assisting with the vision, i.e. your mate, if there's somebody in your household and they supposed to be on board with the vision, they still got to sign off on their role in the vision. They might not agree all the way fully, but whatever their role is in the vision for right now, they still got to sign off on that thing and drive their own boat. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what I'm saying. Okay, so I don't agree for a lot of reasons. I'm gonna tell you why. Because communication is number one. Like, there's no way that he was in a relationship with her and she didn't know that he was going for his doctorate or his PhD. Sorry, for his PhD. Now, if she really was in for her PhD or he going for his PhD, then why wouldn't she take up the opportunity to go look up what it takes to get a PhD? Like, when we talk about people giving people these opportunities or saying that a person got to sign off, it's like, when do we allow the other person, hold them accountable for what they actually agree upon? Like, you can't agree upon it saying, yo, I'm gonna go get my PhD. I'm letting you know, like, listen, I'm gonna go out here and get my PhD. This is what I'm doing. This is the plan. You said that he said his plan was to make enough money so his wife don't work. So he put in the time that he had to put in to make sure that he get to a particular place, and she was part of the goal. So if she wasn't signed off on it, like, like I said, maybe it's me. I don't know. But I'm not one of those people that you don't allow to hold people responsible for their actions. Like, people don't get to say, yo, like, if you communicate with the person up front and saying, this is what I'm going to do, like, it's like for me, if I say, yo, I'm going to go full time with this podcast, if my mate don't be like, all right, yo, boom, let me go look up and see what it takes to get a podcast. They don't got to go and do a podcast. They don't got, but if it's your partner and it's your vision, because as men, be honest, how many times have you been in a relationship with your woman and you didn't have to give her some type of criticism about makeup or outfits or, all these other things that has nothing to do with what you got to go on, you know what I'm saying? But tell me you ain't have to be the guinea pig or have to be the person that, that's dope. Okay, yeah, that's not. Or tell me you ain't never had to be that for your woman before. Like, you may not. I got on Vernon on the thing last time because he was like, he know the number of hair. Like, he know hair numbers. Like, how do you know? Like, son, how do you know the number of a hair? Like, he's like, yo, black number 38. Like, what the fuck is like?
It feels good to hear yourself talk sometimes.
But no, but if you buy it enough, you know what I'm saying?
But that's something that
words
he
of
knows.
affirmation.
Right. That you got to go figure that out. In order for him to know that, he had to go figure out, like, all right, let me figure this out. You know what I'm saying? My girl wear this, so let me go figure out. That's the same thing on the other person, though, B.
Look though. But if there's one thing to have that knowledge.
Okay.
And then it's one thing to now that I know what it takes to be, because I agree with the part you said about knowledge, but even past that, because that's not where the decision comes. You might know how the car drives, you might know what color it is, but you still got to make sure that it's right for you, right? So you still got to say, okay, now that I know it takes, you still got to test drive it. So, but you still got to want to test drive it too. And that's the part I'm talking about. So now that she learned that, okay, it's going to take him 6 years of grinding, library time, book time, whatever, no sex when you want to have it, he might be too tired, or you might have to watch the baby. Once you learn your role in somebody's vision, you still got to sign off on it. And in this particular situation, that's not what happened, right? And
but they were married though, right?
They were married, right?
So they took vows for better or for worse, right?
What? No. Hold on.
No, I'm just asking. No, I'm asking. I'm asking.
I grew up in that life, so I feel you.
But before we go into our own personal feelings, I'm asking about the technicality of what's going on here. I'm just asking. Before you jump off the way, I know where you was getting ready. No.
I ain't jumping nowhere. I'm just saying I know where you're going.
They were married, right? So that means it was a certain amount of vows that were taken. Like this, you signed up for it that day. Whatever it was, when those particular couple of phrases dropped, and you said "I do" or "I will," you already signed up for it right then and there. There's no more like, yo, now, because in this scenario, now all of a sudden, yo, I'm gonna go to school in this scenario. You knew that this is what it was going to take. It's a sacrifice to be together. The one thing about a relationship, and I stand firm on this, yo. If your relationship is only as strong because you got to see a person every day, you ain't got no relationship.
You got a relationship,
right. And that's just a point blank period. Because as men, you mean to tell me as men, you can't go somewhere without your girl for a week and not what? But you can't go nowhere for a week and not. You gotta get like you that horny. You gotta get like, come on. We got more self-control and more self-discipline than that. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, and when it comes
Rock
to
can't go with us. Rock can't go with us.
Can't go with us.
I'm talking. What I'm saying though is that look, Big P, I get where you was getting ready to go. All I'm saying is that she signed up for it from the gate. Like if two other people are in a relationship that don't have that type of commitment, then they gotta have a whole lot of communication, fam.
Well, like let me, Kev, right before you say that, I'm gonna just say one quick sentence.
Go ahead.
Okay. When you talk about vows, you're talking about end results. You're talking about the results of a decision we made, and it is now worse. So when if you look at every one of those vows, those deal with an end result of something that may have happened. So for better or for worse, right? That means that we decided to get our PhD and it is now worse. We got to eat ramen noodles now. We got to eat la 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 la.
But it says 4.
Hold on, dog. I let you talk, dog. Come on now. So look, no, what I'm saying is that that's the decision. So once we agree on which way we going, when we get there, if it's worse, I'm still riding with you. That's the vow I'm making. It's not you talking about vows. I'm just explaining how they work. I was in the church. I was a preacher. You know what I'm saying? I done married people. You know what I'm saying? I know what they sound like. But and even in counseling, that's what I used to tell people. It's like, hey, if y'all converse, you come together and he make a decision and you rock with it and it end up being the worst decision ever, this vow you making the vow to stick right there.
But that's the point.
But no. But the point I'm making is she never signed off on the decision, bro. That's what I'm saying. There's got to be this. Okay, people in the house and y'all not discussing stuff. Like, come on.
Let me just get just one real quick.
Go ahead, Kat.
It really just comes down to communication is a word that we've been using a lot these last 2 sessions. People being evenly yoked. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a real thing. If you can't see my vision and you don't support this vision, then we're gonna go in the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna go in the wrong direction if you can't follow the vision. If I can't lead you, once again, go back to gender roles, we're gonna have a problem. We're gonna have that problem, and it's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? We see it time and time again. Situation like what you named. It's in all the movies that we watched. You know, that movie with Taraji, my man was an inventor. You know what I'm saying? She knew that he was smart. She knew that he would be able to do it. But she was too busy living in the world and seeing, thinking about what she's doing and what she's sacrificing, what she's losing, not thinking about what the end result was. The man ended up getting a patent, ended up getting paid, still broke her off some change, and people left the movie hating him.
But nah, bro, I hated his ass too. No, well, okay, go ahead, dog. Go ahead.
But that's the point.
That motherfucker, he was fucked up. All right, go ahead.
But this the point that we're trying to make, B. Like, I don't think that you. All right, so I do think communication is key in relationships. As things grow and progress, you should communicate those progressions. So if you do decide within a relationship, like, yo, I want to do this, I want to do that because I'm feeling this. This is a conversation you have with the person. Now, if the person don't agree, do you stop living your purpose or your dream? That's my question then, Paul. Like, if you saying that she left as a consequence of him pursuing the goal that he had for her too, because he sacrificed to make sure that he had an end result for her, like you were saying about the vows. It's about an end result. He went to get a PhD like he told you, because the end result was, I want to make enough money so she don't have to work. Now, what she going to do with her time, why we as men are so into just a woman just having her time. Like, I don't know. But at the end of the day, that's their business. But that was his end goal. Like that was his end goal. But she was like, nah, I ain't with that because you ain't doing what I want you to do right now. So I'm asking you, like, you was a bit like you, we all men are visionaries because we logical, we think, we don't do things based on emotion. No, that's not a lie. That's a lie. We do things based off emotion after we have thought about it or not thought about it so much. But our main thing is overthinking, logical. You know, so let me ask you, you wanted to do something that you love to do, comedy. You love to do comedy, right? You with a woman, y'all married. You say, yo, listen, I want to do this comedy full time. She know you funny. She done been to your shows. She done seen you, you know, do your thing. She done seen you knock it out the park. She know you funny, but you are saying, I want to stand on my own. And she be like, yo, no, I don't want you to do that. What do you do?
Okay, and so to answer your question, there has to be because I'm about even though we lay the vision down, there's got to be some buy-in and agreement. So now your role is this. So if you know I'm doing this full time and it's not going to be no regular paper coming in, that means that okay. So now your role is the regular steady paper person. Are you good with that? If not, then there needs to be a conversation about okay. Well, even though you're pursuing this dream, I still need you to have a part-time job or have some type of hustle on the side. Like there's got to be. So my point is, there's got to be some discussion of because now the other person's role has changed. So
well, I'm asking
it's
you
almost like you wake up. No, specific. But that's what I'm saying. So if specifically.
What do you do in that scenario? Because yeah, you're right. Compromise. We get the compromise, but we're saying she didn't compromise. Obviously,
well,
because she
no,
left.
I'm saying there's no. Part of my story, I didn't finish it all, but part of the story is he didn't give her a chance to. In his head, his vision was to have this great woman that he done married, stay home with the kids. I'm gonna make enough money for you to stay home. He didn't take into consideration that she been independent. He didn't take into consideration that she saw her mom deal with her dad going to work all the damn time and was sitting at home lonely. So that was in the back of her mind. Like, I don't want to be like my mom. He didn't take none of that into consideration. And we had an in-depth conversation, right? And so my point is he never took the time to make sure that his partner had bought into the new vision. That's all I'm saying. So if the new vision, so back to me, if the new vision is I'm gonna be a stand-up comedian full time, if that's the new vision, I'm gonna come in. If I'm dealing with a black woman, I'm gonna come in there with a plan. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't roll up on no. And not for nothing. I know I'm saying black woman, but most women, you gotta come up in there with a plan. You know what I'm saying? You're not just gonna walk in the house one day and say, I'm about to be a stand-up comic full time. Because the question's gonna come. And if you ain't got answers to the first 3 or 4 or 5 questions, it's gonna be a wrap.
I know, but
that's not
listen,
vision.
Listen to what we're doing though, man. Like, let's be honest, yo. Like, we're speaking as if a person that's in our lives don't know what we want to do. Like, we got to be a little bit more realistic about what we're saying because you got to think about it. If he was going to get a PhD, that means that he got other degrees. You don't just go straight to a damn PhD. So you already know that this person is in this mix before you got with them or while you were with them. So I'm just saying, and the same thing with you, Paul. You was already. If you say I'm gonna do it full time, that means you already been doing it part time. True. So if the person is with you, this is what I'm saying. If the person is with you, then that means that they see your progression. Why wouldn't they expect you to want to elevate it? And then where is the belief in you? This is where you as the leader come up with the plan. So this is what I'm saying. Like, I bet. So if you don't feel comfortable or if your woman don't make enough to cover everything so you can do that full time, then that's when you as a man, you come up with some type of way to do some type of investment to create a passive income that could come in. That's no excuse. Like,
true.
There's a a man that could stand in front of any other man and say there's no excuse why he can't create some income to come in that could supplement while he go ahead and do what he do until he get to the bag. So
Right.
it's not that a person's supposed to jump out the window and go cold turkey, especially if he got kids, but it's the fact of how you set it up to be able to maneuver. Like, that's what I'm saying. There's nobody that's if a woman is with a guy, she's been with him all this time and he never done nothing. He never done nothing at all. And then one day he wake up and say, "Yo, I'm gonna go to school and I'm gonna fly planes." Well, I guess she ain't never seen him fly no plane before. She ain't never seen him pull out an aviation book before. So that might take a whole lot of conversation as to where you get this from. Why you want to do that? You know that well. But I'm talking about if you are a man with vision, you didn't just wake up one day and decide that I'm going to do this. You may wake up and decide to add something on, but you already been creating along the way. And if a person has been with you, she's seen you in this lane. She decided to be with you in this lane. So you don't get to say, "Oh, now because I said I'm gonna go full time," like you, Paul. Like you say you're gonna go full time. A person should know.
No,
Like,
no. It's a no, but there's a difference in knowing and a difference in agreeing. And now, because now that because guess what? I changed the vision. The vision was to do comedy. I'm working. I do comedy. We do the shows, right, once a month. Then I walked in the house and said, "I'm about to do comedy full time." Bam, that is a change, right? So now I still got there's another person I'm responsible for that I need to make sure that's on the same page. That's all I'm saying. If he had taken the time to make sure she was on the same page, she could have voiced what she needed within you getting your doctorate degree. All right, so guess what? If you're going to get your doctorate degree, it's going to take time away from this, that, and the third. I need a date night every week. That's the stuff I'm talking about. Like her voice.
but that's what we were saying. That's what we were saying. Communication. We were talking about compromise. We were saying that there's no way that she was with this man. I'm just saying, like, I understand what he was telling you based on you said that. Now I'm asking you because I think we assuming did he say he never told her that he was going to get his PhD?
No. He just never gave room for compromise. He never gave room for compromise and discussion. Like, he just expected her to be along with it because, hey, I'm not running the street. I'm getting my doctor's degree. I'm not cheating on you. I'm not doing this. I'm trying to do this for us. And so because that was his mantra and his big grandiose plan, he never sought any buy-in. He never sought any compromise. And that's really all I'm saying is that if he had taken what we discovered that's what we discovered in talking.
So if she would have said no, what would he have done? Did he say that? Like,
well,
if she would say I don't agree.
No, it wasn't even about no. It got to the point where nothing. It got to the point where it was more no's from his end than her end, and she got to the point where it was like, you know what, I can't do this no more. You're not listening to me. You like all the stuff I'm asking for as compromise to you not having time with the kids or time with family or time with me. That's all gone away, and you not hearing me ask for compromise. That's what her gripe was. And so when we talked about it, and he realized it, from going to counseling, things like that, he realized that he hadn't listened to his wife and his grandiose plan. And that's what I'm saying. You get locked in and don't seek any buy-in from the other people you're responsible for. It's just a recipe for disaster, is all I'm saying. Even if you got vision. If I'm a coach of a football team and we losing at halftime, and I come in there and say, all right, I know what we worked on all week, but we about to change this right here. The first people, you can't run no plays. So the first people you got to get buy-in from, Kev, is who?
The players.
The players.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they gotta hear your vision, and they gotta be the ones to run with. That's a part of, even when I used to preach it, is the people gotta run with the vision. The people in your house. So if it's you, your son, daughter, all them kinds of stuff, and you come in there with the vision and the plan, it's people in there that still gotta run their play. They still gotta. She might have to work 2 extra hours a week so y'all can still make that mortgage payment if I'm gonna go full time. You got to make sure she's good with that. If she
But that's the
ain't, then it's
point.
like, okay, let's put
That's
something
the
else on the
point.
table.
That's the point that we're saying. We're saying communication is important. Like we keep putting it into a perspective as if like I can't, to be honest, I can't really speak on Fam's situation because like you said, he was talking to you. You know what I mean? Like you got detail and stuff like that. I'm just saying, me personally, I personally wouldn't not have a plan. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't know about that. I wouldn't know about a guy that comes when they got to deal with other people, because even when it ain't your person that you're with, it could be people that you have to associate with. It's like the skits. Like if people come and I don't have a plan, we just sitting around looking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So even when it comes to other people, you know what I'm saying? We got a plan. So that's why I say a man with vision. Because you have a goal don't mean that you got a vision. You might just have a goal. And if you put in money in the place of your vision, then that's your goal. Your goal is the money. Like you said, his goal was to make more money so he could afford for her to stay home. If that was the goal. The goal was the money. So he went and did what he had to do to get more money.
True. And there's always a consideration for the life that we came from. So, and we can jump on something else, but just to know, he came from a certain lifestyle. Like his mom abandoned him, right? His mom was on drugs and all this kind of stuff. So the first thing in his mind was that I'm not going to do that to my family. I'm going to make it so my wife don't even have to work. So see, all of those things, you got to put out on the table and have those conversations about. And then maybe she would have saw that, hey, maybe the best thing to do might not be abandon him, but I really need you to get what I'm saying to you. Like, you really not spending no time with me, and something has got to give. I don't want to abandon you. I understand how you grew up, but something's got to give. Or, you know what I'm saying? And so, and that's all we can expect from people. Is to voice their true opinion and tell me like it is. Don't sugarcoat that shit for me. You know what I'm saying? Tell me what's on your mind. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, because I'm a problem solver, and most men are. So I want to fix it. If the fence is broke, I want to fix the fence. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to move the refrigerator to get to the lawnmower to get to the. You know what I'm saying? Like the fence is broken, and then, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Well, communication, yo. I would say when it comes to all these things that you especially as a man, you got to be able to communicate, and sometimes, you got to be able to tell them, what you have going on, even when it ain't something that they're interested in. You got to be willing to be that transparent with your goals and your vision. I think that's just me. Like, you got to be willing to be transparent. If you got a significant other, somebody in your life, you got to be transparent with your vision.
So, Ra, just so I'm clear, so what you're saying is, when your vision is that strong and you ask him, what if she says no?
Right.
What do? You still move forward, right?
I mean, that's what I was asking Paul, but he ain't never answered the question. He went to back when he was preaching and teaching and shit. So you know how he do. He deflected. That's why I asked him. That's why I said personally, what do you do? Because at the end of the day, you are right. A person has to make a decision based on what you present to them. But every person is born with a purpose. You are born with a purpose, B. You have a purpose. So in your purpose, the people that are with you are supposed to be people who are lined up with your purpose. The reason why relationships are so bad nowadays is because they give themselves to people who don't align with their purpose. 9 times out of 10, a lot of people don't even know their purpose. But for you to even get here, for you to be here, you have a purpose on this earth. Your purpose is not to go to work and pay bills and live for the weekend. That is no one's purpose. Nope. But at the end of the day, people settle for that particular lifestyle because that's that. But if you know your purpose, is what I'm saying. A person that's coming with you is supposed to line up. Just as a man, like if you meet a woman and she has a goal of opening up her own business, and you know that as a man, you don't get with her and then try to stagnate her because you can't see entrepreneur lifestyle. You don't understand what an entrepreneur is, or you could be a person that had a past. My mom owned a business and my dad, all this other stuff that we go through, we say, and that didn't work out. So we project that energy off onto somebody else. Right. Versus us saying, if mom had the business and dad, what did dad do wrong? Was dad a part of mom's business? Did dad try to be a part of mom's business? Did that, what did dad do in order to make sure he kept that connection with mom if he knew that mom was going to be in this, if the role was reversed, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
But yeah, Kev, I did answer the question. My answer
he didn't.
My answer was, because I said this. I said I would come in with a plan. So first thing I said, I would come in with a plan.
No, we said, she said no.
Down and put this thing together. So
whatever the plan was.
She said no. And so now we got to figure out her no's. Like, okay, so what no is this? Okay, I don't want to work more hours. Okay, then I got to, just like you said, find a passive stream of income. Like, I'm not backing up off my vision or my plan, but when I had the vision and plan, it was me in a room writing on a cocktail napkin. So now I got to come and present that to the team. I got to present that to the company, right? So now I'm standing in front of the board meeting, and it's like, okay, bam, I want to be a stand-up comedian full time. Here's the plan. Slide number 1, blah, 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 blah. Slide number 2. I'm coming in hot like that, Kev. So I'm not coming in, and again, I'm in sales, right? I've been in sales for a minute, for all my life. So I'm coming in, I'm not coming in to hear no. I'm not coming in to hear no. But no, that's what I'm saying. When you plan, I'm not coming in to hear no. I'm not planning to hear somebody say no. I'm taking into consideration that I done been with this person for a minute. So I know, I'm trying to know the stuff that they're going to say already, right? Oh, how we going to do this? How we going to do that? So when I present my plan, I'm planning to hear a yes, or I'm planning to hear something to say, okay, well, maybe not this. I'm planning to hear some compromise. I'm not planning to hear no. Now we hear flat out no. We got to go back to the drawing board.
Nobody plans to hear no, is what we said. That's why we said, what if she says no to the plan? You broke it down. You got everything. You letting them know, but it's the time factor. No matter how much you breaking down to her, it's still going to take away a certain amount of time from her in order for you to accomplish this goal, even though. So she looks at the time factor. Out of everything you're saying, it's the time thing that's the most important to her, because maybe that's one of her love languages, quality time. Then now she says no. I'm asking, what do you do? Because we know the variables of what we expect. Because when we go into it, we expect them to be on board. I'm sure your fam, when he went to her and told her he was going to get the PhD and I'm going to do this so you can do, he probably expected her to be on board with that, with the thought process. I'm not saying that she said yes or no or whatever. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that I'm sure that he came with the expectation of hearing yes or whatever as well, too. We may not articulate it the same way, but we go in it with the same thought process. I wonder, hopefully they'll take this and understand what my vision is, and we can run together. You know what I'm saying? Although she gonna have to do this part while I do this. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. And then she still say no. So
let
me
answer your question. Let me answer your question. So one of the easiest things to ask in sales, and when somebody says no, is why. I'm dead serious, bro. I cannot tell you.
First thing you learn.
I cannot tell you how much money I have put in my pocket after just asking somebody why. You said no, why?
Right.
Yeah, because you got to get to the true objection.
You got to get to the reason
shut up
why.
And say why and shut up so you can hear what the other person got to say. Because now you're taking notes. Because if they say, well, you didn't say how you was gonna do this. You didn't say how you was gonna do that. Wait, slide number 3. Slide number 3 say this how I'm gonna do that. This how I'm gonna do this. See, that's what you're looking for. I want objectives. If you don't want she not no yes person. You're not even with her because she a yes person. You know what I'm saying? You with her because she feisty and slap you upside the head because it's bald. You know what I'm saying? We bald. We know we like to be slapped upside the head. You know what I'm saying? By our women.
No, don't even put that out there.
Come on, bro.
Nobody ain't want to get slapped. You slap me.
But
Man,
yes,
stop
so
playing.
die
Look,
has
check
that
this out.
right now.
Let me say this, yo. I get because we got other stuff we were supposed to talk about. We done made it an hour. All right. But no, but what I'm saying to you, fam, is that you gotta be honest here, man. You know, you in the relationship, no matter what it is, you gotta expect change. You gotta be expecting growth. You know what I mean? You can't expect it to stay the same, man. You gotta continue. You know, your relationship will be stagnant no matter what it doesn't matter, yo. If you don't want to change your career path or you got to change how you do leisure time. If you don't, you got to figure out something in order to keep it interesting going forward, because we all understand that, man. Like, it's got to have some level of change. So how do you test your relationship, yo?
Mm-hmm.
Like your relationship is, if it's meant to be there, it's going to be tested. And people got to be willing to go through the test. What happens if you get in a car accident? You know, as a man, you're a provider, you're a man. What happens if you can't do something for a certain amount of time? Now this person's saying, oh, I got to take care of you and the kids and all that. I'm frustrated. I'm leaving everybody. So we going to just be like, all right, bet, because we didn't tell her that we was getting ready to get in a car accident? No. Like, life is going to change where it's going to be some type of uncomfortable compromise that has to be made for the greater good of the overall. And sometimes as a man, which I'm sorry to say, this is why we not valued, because listen, we only is valued for what we can provide. We're not given unconditional love.
That's
like
right.
let's be honest. Like, we don't get unconditional love. People love us based on what we can provide. A woman is not just in love with a man just to be in love with him. He provides something. Even the women that be digmatized, he providing something. He may not be providing to her lifestyle, but he providing to her life in some type of way. You know what I mean? He gotta serve a purpose. It's so many men out here under bridges. If a woman just really wanted a man, she would go pick up one right now without no fuss. But she don't dang what they want. You get what I'm saying? So no, I don't know. Like I said, when it come down to it, y'all,
you right on point.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
When it come down to it, y'all, you got to be willing to stand on your square, man. That's all I'm saying. As men, you got to be willing to stand on your square. You ain't nobody boss. You ain't got to be nobody dictator. But you got to be willing to stand on your square, man. And your vision is going to be given to you.
Something.
Yeah.
Be convicted about something, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. They don't want that either. They want your confidence. They with you because of your confidence, because of your grind and all that kind of stuff. So when you step in the room, you know what I'm saying? Now, a lot of this stuff, especially at 40, dating at 47, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of this stuff was in place. Like, you probably saw me DJing somewhere, or you saw me cracking jokes, or you saw me coming out of work. Like, you know where, like, a lot of those things might be known, right? And so it's not like they going away because we started dating. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like I'm gonna start turning down DJ gigs because we dating now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's a part of the life. You know what I'm saying? But if something new come along, you got to communicate and keep. And I'm gonna say, hey, and if it's a plan, like, hey, like, for me, I umpire too. I haven't umpired in 2 years, but I'm about to start doing it in the spring. It's a conversation. Hey, guess what? On Saturdays, I'm umpiring now. So them little morning walk sessions or morning breakfast sessions or whatever, you know, those might go away for 2 months because the season go from March to April. It's a conversation.
Right. But it's also a compromise, right? Because it's two people, it's the effort. Like, so if she understand, you know what I mean, then when you have the conversation, it shouldn't be, well, no, you still gonna have to make these walks. It should be a compromise, right? Because you're building it.
Right.
But anyway, I want to get into some other things before we go, because I wanted to make sure that like I said before, I wanted to run some stats. I didn't want to come on and just be talking, or people feel like we talking off the top of our head. So I wanted to be clear, very, very clear about the way that our family structures have been broken down. When we talk about economics, when we talk about our family structures and us having two people households and these type of things like this, we're trying to figure out as a community why even when we have these things, we're still at the bottom of the totem pole. So I got some demographics stats that I want to read to y'all because I want to make sure that y'all understand where we're coming from. You may think in your little circle or circumference, I'm not talking about us on the panel, I'm talking about people that's watching and listening. Like you may be thinking that in your circumference, this is what it looked like. You on point. Everything is looking good for you. But no, that's not how it looks for the majority. And this is why we dealing with certain things in our community. Why we dealing with people who are considered having side chicks. And they keep talking about, yo, why is this woman so comfortable with having this guy that got another woman? And we trying to help y'all to understand is because some people out here know that it's very much a shortage. And when we say a shortage, it's a mad shortage. And we got stats. So I don't want to hear nobody coming on trying to argue with me, trying to think that I'm trying to boost something for men because it's not. It's just not enough men. It's not enough heterosexual men, and it's just not enough men in general. But let's not even worry about the relationship portion. Let's just talk about economic-wise. Like, how do we take care of our own? We don't. And I'm going to tell y'all why, because check this out. So I'm just going to say right now, like we got to think about the businesses and the jobs that are created in this country. We're just talking about the United States alone. 56.8 million jobs are created by white-owned employers. That's number one. That means they can employ 39% of all working age white adults. So the average annual revenue between all white Americans based on the employers that the businesses that they own, they average about $11.6 trillion a year. So that means that they got enough to give every working age white adult $80,000 a year, right? The second highest in creating jobs is Asians, right? Asians create 4.7 million. They can employ 38%. It's only 1% less than what white people do, right? They doing $814 billion in annual revenue, and they are able to give everyone that's Asian at least $65,000. That's on the median. Next comes Hispanics, right? So Hispanics have jumped all the way over us. They've created jobs. They created at least about 2.9 million jobs in the U.S., right? They employ about 8%. They doing about $422 billion. Right, and they make enough where they could give every Hispanic that's in the United States about 11,000 every year. That's just giving it to them, right? That's just if I wanted to give every Mexican that I saw, every Hispanic I saw, I just wanted to give them 11,000. They could do it every year, right? Now here we go, the bosses, right, and all this other stuff that we got going on, right? We only employ 1.2 million jobs in the U.S. We only employ 5% of the working force of the United States. We only bringing in about 127 billion in annual revenue. I'm just talking about off of businesses, right? And we only make enough that if we wanted to give every black person in America only $4,000 a month. So when we sit up here and we talking about, yo, we bossing, we doing all this stuff, and we getting all this money out here, and the black family is doing good and it's doing this, it's not, yo. It's not. We actually ass out here. We dead last out here. And I'm going to break it down even further too. And then we're going to chop it up a little bit about this because I'm just telling y'all, man, like it's an illusion. We think a lot of people live inside their little bubble and they really think that shit is popping, and it's not. This shit is really not popping out here, yo. So let's just put it to you like this. They talk about the average and all these stats. Y'all could go out there and check on blackdemographics.com. This information is out there for y'all. So y'all can get the same information that I'm reading. Now, we talk about the black household income. This is based off of inflation since 2021, right? The median household income just in black America alone is average about 76% of people make about $69,000, right? All other races in the U.S., they doing $99,000 a year. We just talking about people in their jobs and stuff like that, right? So that's just the people in their jobs. This is how it's averaging, and these are all demographics. These are all things that are being brought up, right? And so I want to make sure that we let people know, like when we on here and we talking about these things, we're not just making it up. When we was talking about polygamy, when we was talking about it based on economics, this is why monogamy was so forced on Western society, because they understood that's how they were able to build. They say, yo, the 12 tribes of Israel. That means you say, yo, he had 12 kids. Like, yo, you had 12 kids by one woman? No, they're not. So whenever we keep breaking down history, we keep breaking it down, and we understand economics. We don't understand that portion. We just understand what our personal feelings are. We get triggered when somebody talk about something that we may not understand or we may not agree with. We get triggered. We emotionally jump into it. People start getting in their feelings when you bring up something like that instead of understanding that what the basis of certain things was for. So that's the whole reason why last week we was even talking about polygamy. You know what I mean? We wasn't talking about it as if to say like, yo, everybody need to go out there and get them 2 and 3 people. No, that's not what we were saying. Some people don't deserve to have more than one person. Some of y'all don't even deserve to have one person. That's not my place to judge, but we see how y'all treat people. I know a lot of us see how people get treated.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like
but to comment on the economic side, you know what I'm saying, and I'll say this, and it's gonna maybe make a lot of people mad, but them the Asians and the Hispanics and all, you know, like when you listed that, both of those groups of people fought back. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna put a pin in it, but it ain't a lot of them. Matter of fact, if we go into it, it ain't a lot of them that's been through what we've been through. It ain't none of them that's been through what we've been through. You know what I'm saying? And also, as far as opportunity, as far as how, you know, how they leverage, especially Asians, how they leverage where they are to buy stuff in the United States. It's like they didn't come here just to like, oh, this is the land of opportunity. They was like, yeah, it's the land of opportunity to buy some stuff. So they own half of New York. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they
that's
own
what
all them skyscrapers. You know, they
right.
own
That's
land.
what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? They came over here to buy stuff. You know
They
what I'm
created
saying?
jobs.
They
the second highest in creating jobs in the U.S. is what I'm saying. They're creating shit.
And so we had this conversation, you know, the night. Is like, where did we learn how to do business? Black people. We learned from watching white people. And you was only going to get what they gave you unless you snuck in, or like that movie The Banker came up, how he used to sit outside the window of the CEO of the branch, you know what I'm saying, and get like little stuff, hear him talking, and he would take notes and stuff like that until his dad caught him and he got in trouble, right? And so, but the stuff that we learned that we pass down to each other, which is why we can't, because we also learned this whole competitive thing where we can't be CEOs together. I gotta always compare my dollar to your dollar. You know what I'm saying, Kev? Like, we can't be on the golf course together. We always competing against each other.
Who's
you
that?
know what I'm saying? Like,
black
we can't
people?
no black people.
Black
we can't.
people, yeah.
Right. We can't get ahead putting our money together and we're gonna start this corporation and hire another 10,000 brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? We ain't.
But you we got to
that.
start. But that's the thing about a lot of times that we do. You know what I'm saying? We already know the problem. Like, we know the problem. Like, it's easy for us to come up with the reason why we don't do something or why we don't have something. But the solution is, like, where do we come up with the solution though? Like, when do we have the opportunity to say, all right, we know that this happened in our community. How do we change it? So if we don't start with the family, we got to start somewhere. Sometimes your corporation or your industry got to be your unit, your foundation. Go ahead, Cal.
I would be interested to see what those same demographics look like from the 1960s, 1950s, back when the black man was in the household. You know, prior to everything that's happened since then, you know, back when I would just be interested, because it's tough, man. It's really tough.
The numbers were higher back then. We could pull it out only because it was okay. So it was less. All right, so it was less deaths. So in the sense of, it wasn't as much black on black crime going on back then, and it wasn't as much homosexuality going on as much as it is back then. So the numbers were higher, but this is the thing about the back in the day when it come down to those times. Grandpa or great grandpa, he had more than one family. Grandpa had more than one family, B. And I mean, the thing is though, especially in the South, because 59% of all African Americans live in the South when it comes to the United States. 17% is in the Northeast, 17% is like in the Midwest, and it's only 10% in the West, right? But 59% of African American population, the most, is in the South. So if you kind of look at it from that standpoint, back in the day, the numbers were a little bit higher because 9 times out of 10, Grandpa had more than one family.
Yeah, but Grandpa also had some hustle about him. That's the thing.
No, Grandpa had the paper, but Grandpa had, you know what I'm saying? But the only difference is he went to war. During that time, they was, know.
I mean, you was drafted, like everybody was drafted. Man, it's tough, man. Like me, I get inspired every single day, and being around y'all, everybody has a hustle, everybody has a grind, everybody has a vision, and it's rare that you could get, even us three right here, it's rare to get 3 men in a room together and it's not beef. It ain't worry about how much money you got, how much money you got. It's like, how do we get more money?
Right.
What's that next step? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we grow what we have? You got this skill, I got this skill. How do we put this together? What's the next project that's coming up? What can we invest? It's those conversations that people don't have. Like you said earlier, people focus on the women, they're going to be broke because they thinking about the next fat ass and how to spend this money. Like, I'm going to go trick on her. Yeah. Or when you're here with people who are trying to get to that next level, create generational wealth, because making money and being wealthy are two different things. It's two complete different things. We could all say, man, listen, at my job, I make this amount, or I'm above the median. I'm an alpha male because I make more money. Listen, at the end of the day, if your vision dies when you do, your vision wasn't strong enough.
That's a fact. That's a fact, yo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big fact right there.
Totally agree.
And I think that's another reason why, for men, you gotta have vision. You can't just be a person who just out here just trying to live day to day off of your regular means, because especially for people who only got one source of income, because that's like having one source of income and just like having none, to be honest.
You went away from having none.
You know what I mean? You gotta have some type of vision, man. You can't just be out here living day to day. You gotta have some vision. But like we said earlier, Paul, for us to fix that problem, because we gotta fix this problem, because regardless of what we saying, like the statistics don't lie. It's a real issue. We don't create businesses that create jobs, that create wealth. We don't do that. Like, we get barbershops, we'll get beauty salons, we'll get a boutique, we'll do these things, but we won't go get insurance companies. You know what I mean? Something that bring in residual income. We won't go get, even when we go to car dealerships, very seldom do you find Black-owned car dealerships. You know what I mean? Like, we don't invest in the things that we see that means something. We don't invest in very few invest in real estate. I go to the North Carolina real estate investment meetings, right? I've been a member for a year now, and I go in there, and you should see, man, it's such a upside down in diversity in that place of people that are actually investing in real estate. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I've been in some
compared
of those,
to us.
Yeah.
Right. We could like all of us that be in there, we could kind of fit in like a corner compared to everybody else that's in there, that's investing in real estate.
And the other side is it's people in there that want to help. It's a lot of white people in here that's trying to get into heaven. You know what I'm saying? And so they see you pull up, and Kev, they see you pull up, and they already ushering you in the front. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna help this Black man get some information, and hopefully I can bargain that with God when it's time for me to go home. Because
and people do look out. But what I'm saying to you is that having an interest, like as a person, you got to have the interest to want more. You can't you got to have the interest. People, we talk about crypto, people, they don't want to learn about it. They can't get past the name, so they don't learn about it. They'll learn it's something you can invest. People don't learn about stocks. They'll go out to the mall and they'll spend their money in these stores. They buy Apple products, they buy Samsung products, but they don't invest in the stock. Like if they invested in the stock, certain stocks pay dividends. If you invest in the stock, if you keep putting your money in the stock, you'll wind up getting all the products you want for free. They pay dividends. You wouldn't even have to be doing that. And then you could be paying yourself off of you investing. Every time you pay your bill, your monthly bill, you could be paying yourself if you invest in these stocks.
Right.
This is just stuff that people need to know. If you got life insurance policy, like whole life insurance policy, there's a such thing as a cash policy where you can invest, you can be your own bank. So go ahead, Kev.
It's too late to get into this. We already an hour and 20 minutes in.
I know.
You got to table it. You got to table it, man. Like,
but this the thing, though. This the thing. We still got to get, we still got to get it out. You know what I mean? Because the thought is complete. Like Like it's too many ways.
It's too many ways.
And if you as a man, like if you got these type of visions for yourself, or if you got anything inside of you that is not about you, like you thinking about other people, like you got a why. Whether it's your children, your significant other, I don't care if it's Mima, your mother, whoever that you feel like you're responsible for, or that you're responsible for making sure that they good if something happened to you, then you got to be a man that got these type of visions. And then the people in your life, they have to be a part of that. It's going to fall on you. You as a man, regardless of what the woman says, if she did it, if something go wrong with the family, you're going to be the person that's going to look like it's to blame. It's going to be on you, B. Like, regardless. So if you say you want to go to school and she say no, and you don't go to school and y'all still living check to check and something happened, it's still going to look like it's on you.
It'll be on you. Yeah.
Not because you knew you could make a better way. It's just going to take a sacrifice. But either way, it's going to be on you. So you don't have time to pick people in your life or to continue to have people in your life once you wake up to your vision that don't support the vision. You as a man, you got to make that decision, yo.
Right.
Right. And then people gonna walk away from you, yo. People gonna walk away. Friends, family walk away. You know how many people walk away from me, man? Like, yo, we'll be here all day just by doing the stuff that we doing now, by doing skits, by doing all these things. People walk away. You be thinking that people love you and they care about you, and they don't. They only care about what they could get from you. They don't care. You know how many people we work with that I put in these contents and stuff. They don't even share it, yo.
And
then they hit me up, yo, Rob, put me in and they don't even share the shit they in.
And so you and back to the list that you mentioned, right? Again, we're talking about different mentalities. White men, like we were talking about this the other night. Like you were looked at as broke if your wife worked.
Yeah.
Back in the day. If your wife wasn't home with your kids like my wife is, and we out here on the golf course, and somebody said, well, Bill's wife just started working at the Chevron.
She works a job.
What? She has a job? Bill, you're losing control of your house. What's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, but even still in that dumbass mentality, they were still together in their thinking.
Yeah, but they were still dumb. Like, like you said, they was dumb. They was dumb. But yeah, you right. They was dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And again, a lot of generational wealth has been cut off by the bullshit that we went through with grandpa and them back in the day. A lot of them men that got killed, and then they had 40 acres of land, but now the wife can't pay because she didn't know what was going on and how to pay the bills and all this kind of stuff. And now somebody died, and guess who get it? The brother of the sheriff who had $10 at auction, done bought 40 acres of land and planted sugarcane on it. You know what I'm saying? For $10.
That's
and
true.
So it's a lot of those things that have been done, and we not looking at those things as pissed off. Some of that stuff made me pissed off to the fact that I run my business to help Black people and brown people. You know what I'm saying? I'm hiring people. I'm putting people on. I'm sharing stuff when I get content or people, when I see a business or something, I'm sharing it because I want to see us win. That type of stuff, thinking about that doesn't put me in a rut. It doesn't put me, it makes me pissed off to the fact that I want to change it. You know what I'm saying? I want to I want to help each other, because look at all the stuff that was done to us. And yeah, we screaming, oh, but look, we still here. But you know what I'm saying? But that ain't all I want though.
Yeah, the roach is still here, but they ain't thriving.
You feel what I'm saying? I don't just want to be still here. I want to win. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to come up, and I'm trying to have people come up next to me. I'm trying to give it to my kids. I'm trying to give this mentality to my kid. I tell my kids all the time, you got to have a side hustle. You got to have a side hustle. It ain't no negotiating about it. That one job ain't going to do it no more. And look at the area we live in now, bro, with Apple and Google and all these people coming here. Bro, some people ain't going to be able to pay rent around here. There's people fighting in Raleigh now. You know what I'm saying? Like outside, done got kicked out, and they rent was $1,100, done went to $1,500. And they was doing good at paying $1,100.
And that's why
you're supposed to be able to live.
Listen, and this is why, right? Economically, why we got to pull together. Remember, the reason why these other communities have done that, because they practice a certain type of lifestyle. They split everything. They're not in this position where they're looking at everything, because, like you said, back in the day, grandpa and them, they controlled everything. They didn't tell the mom, grandma what was going on. So when he died, grandma lost everything because she ain't know nothing. Because all he did was keep her pregnant and da-da-da-da-da. Like we say all the time, because he learned that from his slave master. That's what the slave master did. That's what he learned. But then when you go to our culture before that, you know, the men actually honored the women in their lives, and they made them partners, and women knew, and they helped control the different aspect when it came to women. We got into this post-slavery thing coming out of slavery from when that was happening. And then women are still wanting us to treat them as if how the slave master used to treat their wife. They still want a man to pay all the bills. They want to live a certain way because they call that traditional. But that's all slave mentality, because that's what he used to do. But then if you think about what we did before, they created assets. I said that last time. They created assets that paid for themselves. They bought cattle. They bought livestock. They did all these things that paid for the lifestyle for them to be able to live a certain way. It wasn't just one person paid for everything. It's just so stupid that's what the mindset that we put ourselves in as a man. Right. That's what it means. Right. Yo, in order for you to be a man, you got to pay for everything. Like, nah. That's why I said that the woman was a help meet, not a help mate, yo. Words matter. Meet the needs of the family, not a mate. She's not just there to be humped on. She's there to help me. So if your rent $1,800 and it's just two of y'all and y'all can't split it, then you might need a third person in there.
Polygamy.
I mean, look.
I'm just joking. I'm joking.
Paul going back. Paul going back. But it's either that. It's either you suffer the consequences, or you get put out and you go live, or you would be forced to live in a place that you don't want to live based on economics. Why? Because we don't have the money to employ the people that we want to employ. We can't pay them what we want to pay them or what they need, because like I just read to y'all, we only around 69,000, where the average white person is around 80, 90,000. So there's like almost a $20,000 to $30,000 gap in between. So even when we create jobs and we give people, we still giving them less than a person who just got a regular job, yo. Like regardless.
But see, they also got a $20,000, $30,000 head start.
No, that's the thing.
They got a head start. They have a head start. My grandmother could not read and write. Used to pick cotton. My grandmother.
Right.
I got a college degree because only thing that she could tell my mom was to go to school. Only thing my mom could tell me, go to school, get a degree. You know what I'm saying? Go to work tomorrow. Tap the white boy. Hey, tell me about your grandparents. Oh, my grandma was a teacher. My dad was a postman. Oh, wow. That's a head start. It ain't even generational wealth. This is about generations of doing better.
They do.
All we're doing is trying to go one level up above the last one. My kids don't have to be better than me, but my kids being better than me may not be better than them being better than my neighbor's kids, just because we're so far back. And no matter how fast I run, if everyone's not running with me in the same direction at the same speed, then my black owned business that I'm willing to hire black people, educate black people, and grow black people, they're not going to come work for me. Oh, I ain't working for Kevin. He think he better than everybody. I ain't working for that nigga. Sorry for the N word.
Well,
But
this is why I say it start with the family though. Like we are not building within the family. Like if you kind of really put it into a perspective, a lot of the things that we don't create are businesses. Like these people got a head start because they create the businesses to give a head start. We still spend the money. Like it's not a person who didn't say that at some point in time they ain't standing in line for some Jordans. I never did, but I know people who did. You know what I'm saying? I know people who actually stood in line for Jordans because Jordan name was on it, but Nike was the one that owned the brand, and we know who owned Nike.
And the white man get paid off for all of that,
right? So how much do we contribute? Like if a person puts out a product, we don't have to look at Nike now. Nike suing everybody who got a sneaker that even looks sort of like any type of Nike because their stock have went down. You know what I'm saying? Because they talking about everybody buying black and buying things outside of the norm. So if you kind of understand, look at Run DMC with Adidas. Like Adidas was a fault. Like they were on the verge of going bankrupt until them boys came through and made them records, and now they still one of the top brands in the world off of Run DMC. Like let's be completely honest, yo. So what I'm saying to y'all is that they create the jobs, but we create the culture. We don't own our culture.
We don't.
So if you kind of look at it like that, we still have the mentality of somebody giving us an opportunity. This is why, no, we might not can't create a Fortune 500 company right now, but we can create families within that structure that own real estate or own supermarkets or own passive income. Because you can't tell me that people are using other people's money, so you can still go get a loan. You can still get your credit together. You can still. It's just so much stuff out here. You could go to a bank. You don't want to go to a black bank. Like there's no excuse now. Like you can do what you need to do to create something now, but are we in a creative mindset? The solution. That's all we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about on our platform when we talk, y'all. We're going to make sure that we're going to talk about what's wrong, but we're going to give out the solution too. Like it is a way for us to overcome that. It is a way for us to jump ahead a few miles to catch up with people. We just got to be in the mindset to do so.
All right. So and so based on what Kev said and then rolling into what you said in discussing solutions, I think that and one of the things in playing football, playing sports, you always had to discuss where you were so that everybody in the room was on the same page about where you were. So that now when I create the plan to say, this is how we're going to get from here, from A to Z, right? This is how we're going to get there because of A. Because of A, this is where we are. This is how we're going to get to Z. And I think what was important about what Kevin said is that teaching our kids that they ain't made it yet just because they got one degree is that they're our kids' wealth now is equivalent to they 2 generations behind white people. It's white kids, dog, that can take off for a year, no income, just go backpacking in Europe. And I'm sure there's some black folks that can do that too, but it's way more stories about white people doing that shit than it is black people. Oh, I just took 2 years off. I didn't want to work when I got out of school. I got my degree from Harvard, and I just took 2 years and went to Europe and just kind of backpacked it and drank beer and seltzer and wine all day for 2 years.
Right.
No income. Because of their family's wealth, because that's okay, because guess what? If you got the money in the bank, sure, Susie, you want to take 2 years off? Go right ahead before you have to get serious and get some corporate job. Because we can afford it, right? They can afford to live those types of things. So I think if we have our kids understand, hey, listen, we haven't made it yet. We still in the fight. Just because you got this degree don't mean that you don't need a master's or a PhD to help you eventually. You know what I'm saying? It's like one I told my daughter graduated, and I said, hey, going back right now is probably the easiest thing to do. You ain't got no bills or nothing. Just go on back for 2 years and get your master's degree. And in her situation, I think it was like a year and a half. And so my son come out the Navy. My son comes out the Navy, got 2 years paid for by the government. And there's several schools in North Carolina now that give free education to veterans.
Mm-hmm.
Free, double EE, free education. To not get that is to be satisfied. And so when we talk, that's the stuff I talk about. Stop being satisfied just having a job making $18, $19, $20 an hour and being able to pay rent somewhere. That is not it. That is not the game. You know what I'm saying? I think that's part of the solution is make sure we keep that in front of them and not be satisfied and give them a high five just because they graduated high school. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On a whole, I'm not saying everybody doing that. I'm saying on a whole, we celebrate. I've seen high school graduation.
Oh, it's a party.
Droves. It's a party. It's 20,000 people, grandma, granddaddy, everybody there. You know what I'm saying? We making it seem like this the end. We all need to be on the same. We celebrating you now, but guess what? We celebrating you so you can know what this feel like in 4 more years or 2 more years when you get that associate's degree or you get that bachelor's degree, right? And so that's that need to be the goal, some type of education. And if you want to go the Mark Zuckerberg route and come up with a great idea called Facebook or something like that, we need to be invested in that. We need to be all in. You know what I'm saying? Like we need to be pushing these things.
I think that's what I think mostly though. Like we got to start. I think education is cool. You know what I'm saying? I think people going to get their education is cool. I do know that it's putting people in debt because if your family couldn't afford to pay for your school, that means that you are in debt once you come out. Any job you get is going to have to go towards that. And I think sometimes that we put education in place of like, learning a trade or learning something that could actually, make you some money or learning how to invest in the businesses because most of the people that own the corporations that you work for don't have a college degree. Like if you really want to, if we want to really break it down, once you start studying people, it's one thing that I hear a lot of millionaires always say, if you want to know how to become a millionaire, you got to follow the money. The rules are the same. It's just that people don't know the game and how to play it. But the rules are the same across the board. It ain't about if you being black or white when it comes to the game. You just got to know how to play the game. It's like when we was talking about Uno. We made these skits about Uno and how people play. Everybody play a different way. But there is one way to play Uno, regardless of how many other ways that people play. The point is, though, a lot of people don't know the game they're playing. They go in and they try to play solitaire with Uno cards. You get what I'm saying? The rules are the same. We just got to learn the game so we can learn how to play it. The people that are wealthy, they don't have college degrees. They're not going to college to get wealth. They learn the business. The people are going to college to learn how to manage their business. So we got to still be in a way that we can teach people, go to college if that's what you want to do, go get your degree. Please get a degree in something that you can actually use. Like, don't be the person that got a master's degree or got a doctorate degree sitting next to somebody at Wells Fargo at a call center, sitting next to somebody who got a GED. Because that's what happens. Most people get out of, so we got to be able to have another plan. Like education for the last 2 decades have done okay for us, but it hasn't brought us out of this position we're in. We still only, let me read it again, because even out of everybody that's educated, we still, as far as businesses are concerned, we still only employ 5% of the U.S. population. Yeah. All the education that we're getting. So we're getting education and going in debt. So we got to figure out a way to balance it out. And it's out there for us. One person told me, one guy, he said, yo, Rod, everybody ain't meant to be no boss. Like, everybody ain't meant to have no company. And I was like, you're right. Everybody not meant to the boss people. But how you going to say you ain't meant to have a business?
Providing a service is a business.
Right. You it could just be you as the employee. You could have a cleaning business, but just have a business, employ 1 or 2 people, but you ain't gotta be you ain't gotta have a 40
be right
people
there
under
with
you.
them detailing cars or whatever
Come
your
on,
thing
man.
is, whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Everybody want to be a slave master, yo.
Yeah, I just I'll close out on this because I know that we getting a little long in there.
Right.
It's just, man, it's tough, man. I think that the word education gets substituted for knowledge because at one point in time, that was the only way that you could acquire knowledge is through a formal education. But there's the access to knowledge is so much different today than it was even 10 years ago. 20 years ago when I had to write term papers, I'm going to the library and getting books and reading from books. Now my laptop right in front of me and I can access anything. And I'm not limited to just what my local library had. I'm open to everything that's out there. I don't have to go to law school to go and look up North Carolina law. If I have a question about something, I can just go look it up right now. So what you're saying, it makes a lot of sense. It's right now, this is, even if it's like this is the closest we've ever been. And from us to go from here to here, it's just getting that knowledge, applying applying the knowledge, and then wash, rinse, repeat. Continue to do it. I know a Black owner of a car dealership. The classic dealerships are owned by a Black man. That was the first job I came when I moved back. I chose them because it was a Black man that owned the dealership group. And there's that's the thing. People are like, hey, you need to pay attention to the moves that he's making. Yeah, he hired people, but he wasn't bringing people in like this to say, hey, man, listen, let me teach you how to be my competition. We waiting for somebody to teach us. He don't have to teach me. I can look up and figure out exactly what he did. Chevy is going to give me money just like they would give him money to start a dealership because they want to have a certain quota. So we just got to figure out kind of where we can get in and then maximize it.
That's it. That's a lot of things, but that's the mentality. That's why when we get together, that's part of what makes us friends. You know what I'm saying? Because we do that. When we get together, we on set, we talk about other things outside of just shooting the breeze or talking about what happened, during the week. We come up with different things and different ideas. And that segues into this because we're about to get out of here in a minute, but that segues into this show. The LLC luncheon is in full effect. It's going to be going down this spring, and that's for every business owner, everybody that has an LLC. What we're going to do is we're going to all get together, and we're going to help each other with marketing ideas to help each other market and promote each other's businesses. That's what it is. You pay one price, and you come and you get a seat. We got a caterer that's going to come through. It'll be food, it'll be drinks, it'll be all that. We'll have a panel, and we're going to everybody that come got to have an LLC. You know what I'm saying? Or be part of an LLC. You know what I'm saying? And then that's what we're doing. We're going to change the narrative because a lot of times we know the problems, but we don't come up with the solution. When that's over with, I'm going to do my part to make sure that we do this. So the LLC luncheon is coming in the spring. I want all of y'all to make sure y'all follow us. If y'all need more information, hit me up on showtimecarolina@gmail.com. You know what I'm saying? And you can get any kind of information you want. I'll put the email up on the screen. There, go right there. Sparkingconversation@gmail.com. Hit me up. I'll give you more information so you can know when the LLC luncheon is going down, so you can be a part of it. Because that's what we have to do. We have to learn we have to enterprise. We have to, get LLCs. We have to start learning how to do the right tax write-offs and stuff like that. A lot of y'all can have an LLC and be right in your apartment that you rent and be able to write off a lot of the things that you got going on in your apartment. It's just so many different things that you could be doing with yourself if you just had the information. So I encourage everyone out there, if you have your own business, legalize it, yo. If you're doing something, if you're an actor, if you're a rapper, especially if get you an LLC. Like, get you one, yo, and then start understanding the rules on how it helps you and maneuver through this life, and then be a part of this luncheon, y'all. Because I'm telling y'all, it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be people from different industries to investors. I got hard money lenders gonna be in the building. People who do real estate. We got people in the entertainment field gonna be in there. We got people who invest in homeopathic stuff, so like herbs and healing and all other kind of stuff. It's gonna be so many different people in the building. You know what I mean? So all of y'all that's watching right now or listening, and y'all want to be a part of it, and y'all in the Raleigh area, y'all in the Raleigh area, and y'all want to know more information, just hit me up, and I'm gonna let y'all know. We're gonna be promoting that soon. The LLC luncheon, y'all. We're gonna change the game, and we're gonna change the narrative, y'all. Word. All right, yo. So with that being said, shout out to my crew. Big P, the comedy DJ in the building, and Kevin Illy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You'll catch them on the Team Collective TV channel on YouTube, and a lot of the content that's going down. We do a lot of work together, y'all. We enterprising and we growing. So we appreciate everybody that's taking the time to watch the content. Everything's been growing, man, and I'm thankful, y'all. The subscribers have been growing, the viewership has been growing, and it's just been amazing. So thank y'all. Shout out to y'all. Let everybody know where they can find y'all.
Mine is simple. It's ILLYIAM, ILLYIAM on all platforms.
All right.
And you know, it's your boy, the comedy DJ bartender, man. We got a lot of going on, man. So hit me up. We got some shows coming. We got all kinds of stuff going on, man. So hit your boy up.
Right. I got 5 on the platform. We
Yes,
rolling,
sir.
y'all. Y'all gotta make sure
Yes,
y'all
sir.
get out to the show. The comics are dope. They're getting funnier, and we coming with the Grits platform, the Growing Up in the South, ladies growing up in the South. We have an all-female lineup that we're gonna be taking to different venues, and it's gonna be dope. Y'all gotta come out and catch these shows. If not, you can catch little clips of it on Team Collective TV. You can catch that. Also, I want y'all to do one thing, man. If y'all don't do nothing else, when it comes down to the content, when y'all leave comments and stuff like that, just understand that, we're not going to respond to a lot of negative stuff that go on. So if you guys are negative, you're just going to pretty much be talking to yourself. I just want to let you know. Some of y'all been leaving negative
let
comments
me
under
know.
some of the
Give me the
comments.
negative because I want to light into somebody. You feel me?
Well, no,
They
I'm
don't
just
know who
saying,
they
like, some of
messing
the
with.
comics,
You know
how it is, man. Some of the comics, they really Southern and stuff like that. So some people be getting on there, because on YouTube, people watching all over the world. You know what I mean? So, they be
let me
making
know.
comments about people, oh, they sound like they, this, that, and third, But what I'm saying to y'all is that, we're not going to respond to y'all, man. Big P going to respond to you, but,
You got
wait till I
time.
read these comments.
Big P got
Wait till I
time.
read these
You got
comments.
time.
But
I got time.
I ain't got time.
I just want you to know you're gonna be talking to yourself. If you didn't know, you know now. You're gonna be talking to yourself.
That's
right?
right. I'm gonna do some research and see what they look like in real life, so I can go in.
Damn.
Word, you wildin', y'all. But yeah, so shout out to y'all. So next Tuesday, y'all know we back at it. Next Tuesday, we're gonna be talking about what's trending throughout the week, and then we're gonna be talking a little bit about a few other things that's going on, man, because it's been a lot of things going on throughout the week, and we want to talk about it. We were supposed to talk about some things tonight, but we kind of ran over with the first conversation, which is cool because it's good when things are organic. Sometimes you be planning things and don't always go the way you plan it, and that's cool. Gotta be open to compromise, like we said today. I think the moral of today's show is about compromise and communication. Like Big P said, you can't come in and not have a plan. As a man, you gotta have a plan. If you're gonna change the way things are gonna happen, if you're gonna change the dynamic, have a plan. Like Kev said, listen, if you're gonna do anything that comes to with other people in your life, you gotta be consistent. So be consistent, have a plan, and don't be afraid to say no. People are going to walk away from you, y'all. I'm sorry. If you are meant to do something, just realize that everybody is not meant to go with you, y'all. I promise you. You'll feel a whole lot better once you accept that people will walk away from you. You will have to deal with some things that people are not always going to get with the program. But you have to live your purpose, y'all. You have to live your purpose. Other than that, you'll never be happy. So
True indeed.
I mean,
True indeed.
All right, yo. But without further ado, this is your boy Rod One. This is my boy Kev Illy, and this is the comedy DJ Big P. This is Sparking Conversation. Until next week, y'all. Y'all hold it down out there. Y'all stay safe out there. Remember one thing: if you don't remember nothing else, you gotta believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. It's nobody else's job to motivate you. It's called self-esteem. Self-esteem. So you got to keep it moving, y'all. All right. So shout out to y'all that's listening. Shout out to y'all that was watching tonight. Everybody that left comments. And we out, y'all. Double salute.
Ring black.
Yeah.